Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Lana Michelle, and today I'm going to be talking about my Moldavite experience. So I purchased my first Moldavite, well actually I ordered it back in June of 2020, which is this specific one that I'm wearing now. I just put it on a necklace. But the weird thing about it is that I didn't receive this Moldavite right away. It took me a while for me to receive it. Like I was constantly tracking it down to see where it's at, and it was coming from the Czech Republic. So it was, and then we were in the, we're in the pandemic, so everything that was being like flown overseas was just taking longer than usual. And so I waited, I think, about 6 weeks, and I kind of got impatient. I was like, you know what, like I don't know if I'm ever gonna receive it. So I ended up just purchasing another Moldavite from a different website, and that ended up coming really fast. I think within a week, and I just started working with that one. But the thing is, I was still kind of curious, like, what happened to this one? Like, am I gonna get my money back? Am I gonna get a new one, or like what's the deal with it? So I had emailed the person who I purchased it from, and they had told me, you know what, like your Moldavite got lost in the mail, and you could either send you another one, or give you a refund. And I already had purchased another one, so I was like, you know what, like it's fine, I'll just take my refund, and it just left it like that. And I started working with my older, like the Moldavite that I had purchased, like after this one. And for some reason, that Moldavite, like it's actually, I have it here. Um, this one I put it on a necklace, and it wasn't really, I didn't, so I was watching, obviously I watched a bunch of people's videos and reviews on like their experiences with Moldavite, and I was kind of expecting for me to have certain like experiences, or just at least feel something, or at least like the Moldavite flush. But when I got this, I didn't even feel the Moldavite flush. Maybe, I mean, I'm sensitive to like energy and like crystals, and I could feel their energy. And with this one, for some reason I couldn't, but with this one I couldn't like feel anything. Like I didn't really, I felt the warmth of it. Like for sure I was getting hot a lot. Like my body was always hot. Like I keep holding it in my hand, it's hot. Like I'll do that now, and it gets hot right away. That's one thing that I did notice. But I didn't get like the headache or feeling nauseous and none of that stuff right away. But I was kind of curious to see, like, if it was just me with everyone else. So I would let my friends hold it, or let my family members hold it, and they almost all of them, they all experienced like the same thing. Like they felt the Moldavite flush. They got lightheaded, they felt nauseous, they felt like tingling, or whatever situation it was, they felt it, but I didn't. So I was like, okay. I was like, well, you know what? Like, it's weird. Like, why am I not feeling certain things? And like, I was kind of excited because I was watching so many videos, and I was like, I want to experience certain things like that. But I didn't. So I just kind of left it alone. I was like, you know what? They say when you purchase one, you want to keep buying more and more. And that's exactly what I did. So I think I bought maybe like I have like 5 or 6 Moldavites with me. But I'm only using this one, and I put like my other ones away. And I didn't really experience much. I didn't really experience much of like changes in my life, to be honest, when I first bought this one, or when I was wearing it. One thing I did notice though is that I started kind of like getting more in tune with like my spirituality. Like I'm already a spiritual person. I meditate a lot. Like I'm connected with my higher self and like who I am. But with the Moldavite, I kind of just felt like, my body always felt like it was like kind of floating. Like I was always like, I needed like also another thing. I had to purchase a grounding crystal because I always felt like I wasn't really like in my head. Like I was kind of like, it felt weird. Like I needed some grounding. So I ended up buying a black onyx, and I kind of hold it, or I like meditate with it when I will meditate with this one. I will even try to meditate with it like on my third eye, to see if I would experience anything. Nothing. I wouldn't experience anything. Like my meditations did get really like intense though. I did get into like deeper meditative states. Nothing crazy. The only experience I want to say that I had when I did meditate with it and then I went to sleep right after is that I had a dream about, like, it was weird. Like my dream was like, I couldn't see them, but I knew that I was laying on this, like, where they put like the dead people's body, and it's kind of like that silver, like that bed where I was laying there, and it was just a bunch of like lights. And I just remember seeing like 2 beings. I don't know if I don't want to say like they were like aliens, but to me that's what it felt like. And it was 2 beings, and like I was just laying there, and they were just kind of like cutting me open and then putting me back into place, but like in a way where they were helping me heal like certain parts of me that I didn't know that I need healing. And like it was just like, it was weird. The dream was really weird, but I mean, I'm super into that. Like I love experiencing things like that, so it was exciting for me. But in the morning I was just kind of like, okay, well, I finally got to experience like some type of Moldavite experience. But yeah, so I just kind of just left it like that. I just didn't really like think much of it. I was like, you know what, like whatever. My life is probably not. I'm not ready to change or experience certain things. And so I just started buying more Moldavites, and I kind of just left it. I was like, you know what, whatever. Like, let me just get more, maybe like another Moldavite and help me, differently, because for whatever reason. And then I purchased another one, which is this one, I believe. I purchased this specific one, and then this one I purchased it maybe about like 3 months after I had purchased this one. So I want to say I got this one maybe like in late August, early September, maybe October, to be honest. And when I purchased this one, this is when I started kind of like trying to like, okay, so this specific one is when I started noticing things changing in my life. But it wasn't like anything extreme or like, oh my God, like my life turned upside down and now just like everything's like crazy. Since I'm a person, I love to party. I like to go out drinking, hang out with friends and everything. But I also know that a lot of things that I'm doing, people I'm surrounding myself with, like, it's not healthy for me. And I know I shouldn't be around certain things like that or do certain things. And so when I purchased this one and I started wearing it more and more, like, I started noticing myself kind of like being super distant. Like, I'm always experiencing spiritual awakenings. Like, that's a constant thing with me. Like, I don't know if you guys are into astrology, but I have a lot of Scorpio in my chart. So I'm always going through death and rebirth, death and rebirth. Like, it's a normal thing for me. I'm so used to it. It's exhausting, but it is what it is. And so when I was started wearing this one, I'm not gonna forget, it was in October. I think when like Scorpio season started, I started going into really like depressive like states. Like, I would be super happy because I'm not sure I'm a super happy and giddy person. Like, I'm always laughing and like screaming and smiling, and there's always a smile on my face. But at this time, like when like yeah, like at that time in October, it was like mid-October when I started experiencing this. Like, I started getting really depressed. I'm like, what am I doing in my life? Like, why am I like always partying? Like, why am I hanging out with these people? Like, why am I doing this? And like, I shouldn't be doing any of this anymore. Like, I'm not gonna get anywhere with this. I just started getting in my head and I started thinking about like life and like what I'm supposed to do and what I should and shouldn't be doing. And that's what I noticed, that I started cutting off a lot of people in my life. Like, I stopped talking to certain people. I stopped hanging out with a lot of people. I started doing certain things. I stopped going out so much. And I kind of just like, I isolated myself a lot. Like, within the last couple months till now, I isolated myself a lot. I think I kind of like started a spiritual awakening in October, but it was super, super intense. Like, I usually get out of these like state of minds quick. Like, I get out of these awakenings really fast. Like, for me, it's super easy. Like, okay, what is it that's going like happening with me? Let me get through it, whatever. Get up, be happy again, and do whatever you want. But at this time, like, I felt like, okay, I was happy one day, but it will only last for maybe like 2-3 days, and I'll go back into like a deep state of mind and start getting depressed. But the thing is, it wasn't a depression where I'm like, I hate my life. Like, I don't want to live. Like, it wasn't like a negative depression, but it was more like I started doing so much inner child healing, like so much inner self healing. I did so much shadow work. I'm still doing it now, but it's not as intense as it was back then. Like, I started rethinking about like the way I grew up, like how things affect me, how we're affected by our childhood trauma, and like why we are the way we are. And I started thinking like, you know what, I need to like reprogram my brain and like, just refix this. Like, this is not me. This is the only, I grew up this way, but this doesn't mean it's me, So I kind of started just going really deep into like my mind and trying to figure out what it is that I need to do and like why am I feeling a certain way, and what can I do to heal myself, or what is it that I need to like learn and like go up. And it was just like a long process, and it's like it's never ending. Like, it's exhausting. Like, if you're not used to doing like inner healing and in shadow work, or like diving into your subconscious mind and having to fight your demons, be careful when getting this Moldavite, because it's intense. Like, I'm constantly like, like I said, like going through death and rebirth. Like, it's so like, I'm so good at that. Like, I let it happen naturally. But when these past months with the Moldavites, like, it has been extreme. Like, it's intense. Like, it's come to a point when I'm just like, dude, like, I don't want to do this no more. Like, I'm exhausted. Like, I wasn't sleeping right. I didn't want to see people. I wasn't talking to anyone. Like, I became so isolated, and like I didn't talk to anyone. I didn't go out. Like, but I did focus a lot on myself. I constantly started focusing like on my future, on like on my goals and what is it that I wanted to do with life, and like just certain things that I kind of just certain things that I kept telling myself, like, hey, like, it's time for you to get shit together, like you know, what is it that you want to do? Like, you can't be doing the same thing. Yeah, so, you know, it's just kind of more like a spiritual awakening, but a really, really deep and intense one with these Moldavites that I had purchased. And it was just a lot of healing, a lot of inner work, a lot of shadow work, a lot of just, you know, fighting like my demons and just like having to reprogram my subconscious mind and figure out what it is I want to do myself in my life, all those, you know, like crazy things. But I remember coming home one day and I had a package, and I want to say this was maybe like I want to say September, October. No, you know what? Yeah, September, October. Now that I think about it, I came home to a package, and in that package was this Moldavite. And I was just like, I was like, it got lost, you know? I stopped tracking it. They gave me my refund and everything. So it was weird. So I was like, okay, well, I guess I could have another Moldavite. And I was so used to working with those. I was like, you know what? Those are bigger. Like, I like those. I'm just going to keep those. And this one, so I just left it alone. And I left it in my wallet. And I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll just attract abundance. And I left it alone. And maybe not too long ago, something like, I think it was like meditating or like barely, I don't remember. I think it was meditating or getting ready to go to bed, and something told me, hey, you need to work with your Moldavite. Go get your Moldavite. But I was like, and it was this specific one. I'm like, I didn't care for it anymore. Like, I didn't want to work with it. Like, I just left it in my wallet. And so I was like, you know what? Okay, whatever. I went to go grab it, and I was trying to put it in a ring. So I made a ring for it, but it did not want to stay in the ring. It kept falling off. It kept falling off every time. And I was like, okay, maybe it doesn't want to be in a ring. Like, what do I do with it? Like, I didn't want to make a hole on it. I didn't want to wear it as a necklace. So I kind of would just like put it in my pocket like every now and then. And then I was like, you know what? Okay, whatever. Let me just put it back. Like, I'm not really feeling it anymore. Like, I'm just going to leave it alone. And then there was recently, I started seeing stuff about Moldavite again. And I started seeing people talking about it. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, no, I was like, cool. You know, people are being more open. I was like, very cool. You know, people are actually getting into Moldavite. You know, I'm seeing, yeah. So I started seeing people talk about Moldavite. I started like seeing it everywhere. Like, I was on YouTube and like videos would pop up again. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, okay. Like, I was like, all right, that's cool. You know, I was kind of like, okay, yeah, everybody's like working with Moldavite again. Or everyone wants to work with Moldavite. And then I kept like, something kept telling me, go get it, go get it. I'm like, okay. And I got it. And I was like, I need to wear it. If I'm going to work with it, I need to wear it, because I can't be having it in my pocket, because I'm going to lose it. Like, I wanted it with me all the time. So I ended up making a hole on it, and I made a necklace. It was maybe like a week ago or so. And so when I started wearing this specific one, that's when I started noticing like all these like weird changes in my life. And aside from me like I started wearing this one, which was maybe about, I want to say like 2 or 3 weeks ago. It kind of started going, I started like not really thinking much about it. I just kind of like, just, you know, whatever happens with it happens. And I started kind of going again into like a really like depressive like state. But this time it was more like, okay, I knew that it was only temporary. I knew that I needed to get through whatever it is that I needed to get through in order for me to get out of whatever, you know, out of my head and out of that depressive state. So I'm like, okay, you know what, Michelle, like, you're going to get through this. You have to go through it, and just, you know, you got this. And so I did it. And maybe I want to say like 4 days ago, I kind of got out of like my depressive state and just started, you know, being happy again and being like, you know, okay, I'm going to be smiling and laughing for no reason now. Yeah, so just a couple of days ago is when I actually started feeling like a little better, and more like I started feeling like myself again. I started being happy, you know, just the smile on my face all the time. And I started, and this funny thing is, like, with my other my other Moldavites, I did experience synchronicities. You know, I experienced like certain like people getting removed from my life, or me like attracting certain people into my life that I needed. And lately, so with this one, I've been kind of attracting people who kind of relate to me, you know. I've been meeting like random people, and you know, they're like spiritual, they're into astrology, like, oh, they have the same goals that I do, or like certain things like that. Like, I'm starting to connect more with people who are supposed to be like in my life, you know, people that I can actually connect to like mentally and spiritually. And I'm like, okay, cool, you know, like, I've been wanting this for so long, because, you know, I always feel like the outcast. Like, I'm the only one in like my group of friends and like the family that kind of like talks about the certain things that I speak about, or like who's into certain things. And so yeah, so, you know, like lately I just like randomly like I'll be out somewhere, and I'll like there'll be like one person that I relate to, or one person that, you know, that will come up to me like, hey, you know, do you read cards, or do you, you know, astrology, or whatever, like little reasons, you know. But it was just funny because it was always one person or two people everywhere I went that I kept connecting to, and I was like, you know, like this is cool, like this is finally happening for me. And I was like, okay, you know what, I'm just gonna leave it alone. Like I didn't really think much about it until my friends, no, one of my friends and like my sister, they started noticing like little like synchronicities. You know, like I'll be wearing thinking about a certain color and be like, hey, I'm seeing this color everywhere. And then like we'll watch a movie, they're talking about a specific color. If there's a certain quote that I'm speaking about, that quote is being said like in a movie, in a show, you know. If there's a certain goal that I'm trying to achieve, or certain thing that I've been talking about for like my future, or whatever reason it is, I'm gonna see it in like a paper, I'm gonna see it on TV, like someone's gonna say it, but something, there's always like, my life is so synchronized. Like I'll think about something, I'm gonna see it. Like I could easily I could easily manifest it into my life now. And the thing is, like, my friends, my sister, they're seeing it like while I'm experiencing that. Like they see me thinking about certain things, and then it comes out, you know, or it just pops out of nowhere, and I'm just like, okay, you know, this is crazy. And for a long time, I've been wanting to make a YouTube, but I want to do it based on like self-development, like spirituality, like anything, just try to help people heal and connect with their true self and how to be happy. But I haven't really had like the guts to come on here and be like, hey, you know, like I've tried making videos and it's been so hard. Like, you know, it's a fear of mine that I still needed to work on. But this is where this one came in handy. It's like, you know what, like you're ready for it. Just go for it. Just go for it. Just keep trying and trying and trying. And I tried so much. I tried so many times, and I was just like, you know what, whatever. Like when I'm ready, I'll do it. So when I first started trying to like make YouTube videos, I made so many, but I never uploaded them because I didn't feel confident enough. Like I feel like I was like struggling to like say what I wanted to say and this and that. But that was also a fear that I was trying to work towards, or like overcome. And eventually, you know, I kind of just was like, you know what, whatever. And now I'm here making this video on my Moldavite. But yeah, so just lately, like I feel like my life is starting to like change for the better, and I'm starting to attract better things into my life. I'm starting to go more after my goals and like my dreams, and hopefully getting this YouTube channel started soon. And I don't know, I'm just excited to see what life has to bring me, what changes and everything that is gonna come my way, because honestly, I'm so glad like this whole spiritual awakening is over, and me having to go through like this dark times and getting in my head a lot and being depressed, because it's hard. It is so hard. And I give it up to those people who are actually, because there's so many people who are scared of Moldavite. Like you shouldn't be scared of it, because you're fighting your own demons. Like eventually, if you want to be happy, if you want to get out there and be who you want to be, you need to heal those parts of yourself in order for you to get there. And that's what Moldavite taught me. It was like, you know what, like in order for me to be able to teach other people certain things or help heal people, I need to do that within myself in order for me to go and do that to them. So it's like there's nothing scary or like about a Moldavite to be scared of. It's just like it's within you. And the thing is, whatever healing or things that you're going through, Moldavite is just gonna make it just come by fast. Like you're gonna keep going through it over and over until you like learn your lesson, until you get out of whatever it is that you're trying to get out of and overcome, or who you want to be. It's gonna get you to like Moldavite is gonna get you to your life's purpose. But in order for you to get there, you have to heal all those wounds within inside of you. You have to like clear your subconscious mind. You have to go through all these like dark moments in order for you to get there. But I promise you it's worth it. Just, you know, make sure you have a grounding crystal with you. You have people to talk to, you know, if not, you know, journal. Like make sure you're like letting out whatever it is you need to let out. Don't hold anything in. Yeah, you know, it's just it's a great experience. I'm excited because I know now that I've kind of like overcame all like the dark side of it. I'm actually ready to like receive whatever blessings are coming my way, and just everything that I know is supposed to be coming for me. So yeah, you know, it's been tough. It's been a ride, but I'm ready for it. Whatever life has to come for me, you know, I'm ready for whatever life has to throw at me. And yep.